Hello there the internet, Tough Monkey here once again, hope that you're all well. Okay, it's a new week, that means a whole new load of daily races. This video we're looking at daily race A at the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. And for this event we're going to be using the Porsche 911 GT3 from 2001. Can't believe this car's 20 years old already. We're limited to using only the Sport hard tyre, so it's going to be a slippery old heck to driving this thing around Brands Hatch. My first few goes, I was around about 270th in the world, but now that I put my proper livery on the car, we're going to have another go. Now, I got it down to a 137.426. This, though, is going to be slightly better, and this is my best run so far. This was as of Tuesday evening, so still plenty of time left in the week to try and improve on this, but this wasn't a bad run. Now, Brands Hatch isn't actually a circuit I'm very good at. I've always struggled here, trying to get your braking point into Paddock Hill Bend, very difficult. Keeping a tight line and then getting the power back on just at the right point where you don't slide out into the gravel there. Getting your braking point right into Druids just before the shadow of the bridge. Keeping a relatively tight line but straightening it up so you can get the power down without running too wide. And then as you drop down the hill into Graham Hill Bend, braking quite early, drop it down a gear and then back up a gear, run it quite wide up onto the curb there. Then I do just go up into fourth gear and then back down into third gear and then second gear just to get the rotation of the car. Don't turn in too early as you can run up onto the curb there, and then power out up to third gear, and then it's the long haul all the way up Hawthorne Hill to Hawthorne Bend. You've got to get that previous corner right, otherwise you're going to lose time all the way along this straight, what straight it is. Early brake, drop it down to third just to get the rotation, and then back up to fourth, let it run wide, get back out on the power. Then we've got your short straight up to Westfield Bend, get on the brakes early, turn in early, over the curb, and then let it run out to the left hand side of the circuit. Then we've got Dingle Dell and the very tricky Dingle Dell corner. It's blind over the crest, brake early, turn, get plenty of curb, and then back out on the power, over to the left of circuit, as brave as you can be there, and then early on the brakes, second gear, then straight back up to third. Take plenty of the curb there, let it run out wide and keep the back end under control. Then we just got the charge up to the final corner at Clearways. Get on the brake nice and early before that last marker board. Keep it tight, don't run out too wide. It's so easy to get sucked out onto that grass on the left hand side. And if we're on a fast lap, we're going to take the shortest route as we can to the finish line, and hopefully it's going to deliver us a good lap. 137.356 at the moment, I'm quite pleased with that. At this time of the week, it put me in around about 100th, 101st, I think I saw I was in. So quite pleased with that, which meant for the first race, we was in first place, we were on pole position. And this is why I do the daily race A's. I know they can be a bit of a carnage fest, but it means you're up against some good drivers if you can qualify well. So I'm on the front row of the grid with a A-star driver, Gurgley, if that's how you pronounce it. I realise at this point I've not actually practiced any starts, and I'm immediately under pressure into the first corner. Gurgley's got a much better start than I have, and he's going to go around the outside of me into the first corner. I've also got a tight line, so I'm going to get on the brake early, and Gurgley, well, he's made a mistake there. He's gone off out into the kitty litter, and, well, to be totally honest, that was almost race over. He was the only guy who was really close to me on the qualifying leaderboard, so from here on in, it was just a matter of keeping it tidy, and that's all I did. I just scampered off into the distance. I watched the gap to second place grow by about a second per lap, and that was it. There's really not much else to tell with this one, so I'm going to skip it forward to the end, and there we go, 6.5 seconds into the lead. Now Jamal, I think he managed to take the fastest lap from me on the final tour, which is a shame because it would have been the slam dunk, but pole position, race win, and we've got a clean race, which is always useful from a daily race A. Now this is the second race I did of the evening, and these are the only two races I've done so far. Pole position again, but we're up against some A-star drivers here, and again we're off the line, and we got a slightly better start this time, so we're not under quite so much pressure. But the problem with being on the pole position at Brands Hatch is on the inside of the corner, and it's a bit of a shallow angle, and I've just managed to get the car sliding out to the edge, and I'm going to have a run going up the inside by lag 29. I'm not going to fight it. He's got the corner fair and square. I'm not going to do anything here. I'm just going to try and sit behind him and see how the race develops. He is an A-star driver, so I might be able to learn some tips from him. So we're going to shadow him as best we can, keep on his tail, and see if we can learn a few things from him. Now you may notice that right on my tail is Gurgly, the guy from the first race who just managed to dip his nose in front to be going into the first corner before sticking it into the gravel. He's a good driver clearly, and he's right behind me, but if I spin on towards the end of this lap, you'll see that I make a bit of a mess of it as I come out of Stirling's Bend. I just get the right hand side of the car just a little bit too wide out into the grass and get a bit of a squirrel going on as we accelerate towards clearways, and that's all the invitation Gurgly's going to need. Is going to nip up the inside. I can see him coming, so I'm not going to fight it. I'm just going to stick it in behind him and see if I can take advantage of any mistakes that he does, and lo and behold, he does an absolute carbon copy of what I did on the last lap. So I'm going to take a look up the inside. I don't think I'm quite close enough. I could have gone for a lunge, but no, I'm just going to see if he makes a mistake, and he does. He's obviously mirror watching, and he just gets a little bit too wide, and I'm going to accept the invitation and nip up the inside on the race up to the finish line. Now, as an aside, the last couple of nights racing I've had, and in fact last week as well, I've had some really enjoyable races against some A-star and A-category drivers, because although it's a daily race A, it's been quite clean. He could have taken a lunge up into Paddock Hill Bend then, just like he could have taken a lunge into the hairpin at Druids here, but he didn't. Fair play to him. And ultimately, that's all I really want. I just want some nice, clean racing against some good quality drivers. Unfortunately, I perhaps don't come under the category of good quality drivers because, as you can see, 5th lap, although I was just starting to close the gap to lag 29, I went to go and binned it like I did just there. So that was really race over. Unfortunately, I'd managed to get my gap to Gurgly just large enough that he wasn't able to challenge me. So that was really the end of the race and the end of my evening's racing, in fact. So a couple of pole positions, 1 race victory and 1 second place. I'll take that for now. Anyway, I think that'll do for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time. Take it easy.